So welcome to Doing Stuff Outdoors, and today we're going to continue working on setting up my chain making station to make chainsaw chains. It's still too wet to get outside and get to work, so I thought I would continue on with this little particular project that I've been wanting to do for quite a while now. So let me show you what we got going on, and we'll get this project started. So here's what I got going on. I've got this workbench that I've had my miter saw mounted to cut lumber and things like that. And I just don't use it as much as I thought I would to have it mounted like this on a workbench. So what I'm thinking about doing is taking this off this workbench and rededicating this workbench for chainsaw, chain sharpening, chain making, and I even got a grinder to sharpen lawnmower blades and stuff like that. So I think I'm going to repurpose this workbench to actually put all of this sharpening equipment in one spot. And you can see I got my bench grinder actually hung on the wall back here to sharpen chains with as well. And I'm thinking about taking it off the wall and mounting it on this bench as well. So let's see if I can make it all work. So let's get started on getting this miter saw off of here and the little riser stations that I made to put lumber on. That's square with the saw. So I got everything cleaned off the bench here, kind of wiped down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start laying out my chain gauge, chain spinner, chain breaker, kind of start positioning that on there. I might even take my grinder off the wall and kind of get it set on there. Just try to get everything laid out. I've also got the lawnmower blade sharpener I'd like to put on here and get it off the top of my toolbox. So I think that's what I'm going to do now. Start laying it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do for this project is, like I said, I'm wanting to put everything, chainsaw, chain sharpener, my chain scale, my chain breaker, my chain spinner. I wanted to put everything to do with sharpening and making chains on the table. So I'm going to go ahead and take this grinder off the wall, and so I can just kind of start placing things out and figuring out what I want to do. So here we go. And just like that, 2 screws was holding it on. So I'm going to go clean this up real quick, and then we'll let you see what's going on. Okay, so I got the bench grinder off the wall and kind of put it on the table. I don't have it securely fastened down yet. I just kind of got something there to hold it up right now. The bench grinder in the middle, and then I'm going to get that bolted down, and then we'll move on to the chain breaker and the chain spinner. Okay, So let's go ahead and get this done. So hopefully I've got enough to couple bolts to hold it, or screws. Washer. Break that off there. I'm pulling on it too hard. Okay, so now I'm going to fasten the chain spinner down, and then I'll decide exactly where I want this chain breaker at. That's the kicker on that one. I still don't know exactly where I want it at. But we'll get this chain spinner bolted down. It has to be right on the edge of the bench. I kind of got it placed where I want it. Perfect. So I got that fastened now. I'll figure out where I want this chain breaker at. I'm thinking kind of right in here, but I might move a little further down here. I'm sure I'll probably end up moving it a couple times to get the flow worked out that I want, because I've never broken chain before. And then we'll talk about the scale here in just a moment. But let me go ahead and put this down. So I got everything bolted down. So now we'll move on to fasten the chain guide down to the actual table. Now, I am going to cut, I don't think I need all of this scale. I'm going to cut some of the end of this off here, and you'll see why here in just a moment. I'm trying to get this whole thing to where it'll fit on an 8-foot section of table. That way, if I ever want to move this table, it's not sticking off the end of it, which you can see over here, it's kind of sticking off at the end of the table. So I'm going to cut about 1 inch off of this, and then I got room to probably cut 2 inches off of this to where I can have this entire thing on the table, and I'll go ahead and fasten it down. So give me a few moments, I'll be right back after I get this thing cut. Okay, I got the end of the scale trimmed off. I'm going to start attaching it to the table on this end, and then I'll just go down the way there until we get to the other end. But I got everything to where it'll fit on the table. So you can make an 8-foot space work, but you're going to have to do a little trimming off the end of the scale. So, okay. So I already got it set up. I'm just going to space it kind of off of my edge of my table using this speed square. And I already got this side set up, so I'm just going to put 2 screws in each one. I'm not going to go crazy. Put screws in this thing. And here we go. Yeah, I like it. So that's kind of what it's going to look like. So now it's time to test it out, which we'll be doing in another video. So if you made it along this far, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, share it with your friends, and have a super fantastic day.